Hello there, how are you doing today? I'm hoping that you're having a lovely weekend. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode and a very warm welcome. So yesterday we got news that Meghan's As Ever had ended its partnership with Netflix, or both of them had just decided to part ways. And of course, when I heard the news, I was just like, this is something normal. This happens normally, like investors and their business partnership with the business owners, and life just goes on, because maybe that was their agreement. And I also assumed that was the case for Meghan and As Ever. There was no big deal out of this. In fact, even Meghan and Netflix released statements clearly showing that Meghan's brand was now going to be independent. And these were their statements stating, for Netflix, they said, Meghan's passion for elevating everyday moments in beautiful yet simple ways inspired the creation of As Ever brand, and we are glad to have played a role in bringing that vision to life. And they continued, as it was always intended, Meghan will continue growing the brand and take it into its next chapter independently, and we look forward to celebrating how she continues to bring joy to households around the world. So they were very happy for Meghan and wish her well. In fact, they're very, very, very glad that they even did this with Meghan. And her spokesperson then said, As Ever is grateful for Netflix's partnership through launch and our first year. And then added, we have experienced meaningful and rapid growth, and As Ever is now ready to stand on its own. We have an exciting year ahead and can't wait to share more. So Meghan was glad about this, Netflix was glad about this, and there was no bad blood. But of course, some people are just jealous because Meghan is now heading to billionaire status. With such news, you can be sure that Meghan is actually going to be a billionaire. Can you imagine the amount of revenue that Meghan is actually going to get from As Ever? Her products are literally just selling out really fast. And all that is because of Meghan's influence, not even Netflix. So trust me, Meghan is going to be even richer from now on. She's going to be so rich, and some people are going to be really, really mad. So you can imagine, after that news was broken, some media outlets, which love to tear down Meghan and even say how irrelevant she is, they paused their segments just to talk about Meghan. And I'm not even kidding. And one of those outlets is GB News. I'm sure most of you are familiar with GB News and the way they love dragging Meghan through the mud. So when that news broke, GB News was having another segment discussing maybe politics or something, and they interrupted that just to talk about this woman whom they call irrelevant. So this segment from GB News, first of all, let me give you a disclaimer, is negative. But I'm just going to play it so that you all can see how bitter these people are. And then I'm also going to show you how people were dragging these people on GB News. So before I continue, just listen to this first.
There's another story that Meghan Markle has basically cut ties. We have a very brief time on this. Meghan Markle's cut ties with Netflix, or they cut ties with her. Actually, it might be the case, I don't know. She's saying that they held her brand back. Benjamin, do you think they held her back?
No, I think they held her up because she doesn't appear to have any other career. So it's just a bit of jam left.
Well, I think the only thing holding her career back is herself. And I suspect it is the way around that you've just said latterly, which is that Netflix got rid of her rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There hasn't been a job that she's had that has been successful in like probably over a decade. The podcast failed, Netflix failed. All of these things are just failures.
Yeah, okay. Well, I had
her jam, that wasn't even a jam. It had to be called a fruit spread.
To be fair, I think the jam actually sold very well.
It did, yeah.
Those people are bitter. You can just tell by the way they are talking. Like, Meghan didn't say that Netflix is holding her back, or where did these people get this statement? Because apparently, I've been seeing majority of the royal experts, the UK media journalists, saying that Meghan said Netflix was holding her back. Nobody said that. These people just made up this lie and decided to run with it. But that is not a fact. The fact is, Meghan was glad to have worked with Netflix. Netflix was also glad to have worked with Meghan, and they are wishing her well as she continues managing her brand that is by herself. So grown-up men sitting on a national media outlet and spitting all of these lies is actually embarrassing. They should have fact-checked on everything before they went there to, or rather before they started spitting all of these lies. then them saying that there hasn't been a job that Meghan has been successful in the past 10 years is actually insane, because if Meghan wasn't successful, these people would not be here in the studio crying about her almost every single time and even interrupting their sessions just to talk about this woman. She is very successful and she's also very much relevant. That is why they can't stop talking about her. That is why they do all of these things just because of Meghan. And right now, of course, their bitterness stems from the fact that Meghan is going to be even successful right now with As Ever. If she was successful before when she was working with Netflix, then right now it's going to be even more success. And of course, people weren't having it. You can just tell that these people were bitter, right? And the comments were filled with people just dragging these men on the studio. For example, one person said, bunch of grown-ass men chatting, yeah, S-word. They still have a Netflix deal. You said Lemonade Media dropped her, then she did Confessions of a Female Founder, found on Spotify and Apple. The partnership hasn't ended because of unmet expectations. The official narrative from both sides positions this as always the plan. Netflix provided startup backing, promotional tie-in via the show, and infrastructure for the brand's early rollout, then stepped back once it was established enough to go independent. This aligns with how many celebrity brand launches work. Partnerships, especially with big players, are often time-limited, then transition to full independence when things gain traction. Exactly, this is what happens normally. It isn't the first time this is actually happening, but of course, people who just want to see Meghan fail or love to spread lies about Meghan, I don't know, failing or not succeeding, obviously took this chance because they thought it was their golden opportunity to lie more concerning Meghan. But why lie when there's literally evidence of what happened? Why lie when Netflix has already made a statement and Meghan has also made a statement on what happened or on why they ended their partnership? And then someone else said, weird, these grown men obsessed with pulling Meghan down any chance they can. I wonder if they have wives or daughters, and how do they feel watching their husband or father hitting on someone they don't know? Well, of course, none of these people can relate. That is why they continually drag Meghan and say nasty things about about her. But it's much weirder because they are grown men. We have, these look like people who are actually 40 years and above, yet they are here obsessing over a woman who's just trying to live her life, raise her kids, and take care of her family. This is weird behavior. They should be going to therapy instead of going to the studio, actually. And someone else even commented saying, says critic sitting on GB News snooze spouting his BS and Meghan is living in a mansion in California. Netflix was never a permanent thing. Everyone knows that once again, distraction from the failing monarchy in London. Yeah. Again, this was bound to happen. It wasn't going to run forever. And at this point, it just seems to me like Netflix is happy, Meghan is happy, but the people who seem sad about this entire situation are the haters, because they know Meghan is going to succeed very much in this entire thing. And I'm sure most of these people do not have the mansions that Meghan actually has in California. They're just jealous about this woman when she is literally living her life, succeeding, and she's happy. And then someone else said, these four faces show up when you Google bitter British men. Lol. Yeah, I'm going to search that and see if they actually appear, because the way they're bitter about Meghan and Netflix actually ending their partnership is very much suspicious. They should be happy and clap for Meghan as she goes her way, because I'm sure there's a reason why this entire thing ended. And Netflix has clarified that this was bound to happen. And another person even said, congrats on full ownership of successful As Ever Meghan. Too bad UK media can't read or write and are still in denial about Netflix. Yeah, it seems like they can't actually read the statements that Netflix and Meghan have put out there, which is quite simple to understand. I don't know why these people keep telling lies when there's literally the truth about the matter all over social media. Of course, they're just mad because Meghan is going to be super rich after this. And another person said, if she had not been successful, Netflix would have cut ties with her after her first show on the platform, not 5 or 6 years later. Exactly. And Netflix has actually showed over and over again that they love working with Meghan. They have even said that themselves. And they decided to partner with Meghan after they had done a few other projects with Harry and Meghan on their platform. So they love working with the couple, and both Netflix and As Ever obviously parted in good spirits. They wished Meghan all the best. Meghan also said that As Ever is now ready to stand on its own, and we're really, really proud of her because I know a lot of success is going to follow this. I know she's going to be very successful, especially after seeing the way that As Ever has been selling so many things. I mean, Meghan has sold out a bunch of things immediately after launching them. So I know she's going to be very successful, and I can't wait to see what is in store for us, for us on As Ever, and what is actually going to happen after this. I know it's just going to be up from here. And honestly, I'm just very much happy for Meghan and As Ever, and I know she's going to be very much successful, and she's going to achieve a lot of things through As Ever. So all the best, Meghan, and we're going to support you all the way up. So that is it from me today. I'd love to know your thoughts concerning this, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a wonderful time. Goodbye.